Voile! Love saying that.
Most people treat 14ers like regular hikes, and that's exactly why they struggle. I've hiked almost all of Colorado's 14ers, and these are the hiking hacks that I use now that make them way easier. First, this is where people really mess up on the descent. Yeah, so lock your laces. Here is the deal. Most 14ers mean you have at least 3,000 vertical feet of climbing and descent, if not 4,000 or 5,000. And when you lace your shoe normally going downhill, that probably means that your toes are just going to keep cramming forward into your boot the entire descent. Bottom line, if your shoes aren't laced properly, you wreck your feet and they hurt for weeks to come. So, lock your laces. This is a simple shoelace tying technique that basically prevents your foot from slipping forward in your boot.
If you're wearing a mid-cup boot like this one here, it's basically a way of tying off your laces at this point where your ankle curves, and that stops your shoe from sliding forward. If you're not familiar with how to lock your laces, just leave me a comment down below and I'm happy to make a whole video on the topic. Next up, remove your rings. And this applies to anyone. You don't have to be married. I have wedding rings, engagement rings, but it could be any type of jewelry that go around your wrists, your fingers. I even notice it with my watch. You don't often think about this at all, but your body and your fingers and your toes swell a ton when you hike a 14er. I don't know if it's because of the altitude, the heat, the dramatic sun exposure, the dehydration, the rehydration, whatever it is. If you have ever hiked a 14er, you know this. By the time you start to descend, you look down at your hands and you have what I call sausage fingers. Each little finger looks like an entire hot dog because it is so swollen. And if you were like me and make this dumb mistake and left your rings on, that sausage is going to have a tourniquet around it in the way of your rings. But save yourself the strife, the hassle. Take your rings off at home, leave them there for safekeeping, and you won't have to worry about your fingers while hiking. Next up, third on my list, is a voile strap. Another mistake I see all the time is hikers who don't have like a generic way to fix things when something breaks. And on 14ers, inevitably, something breaks. And that's why I always carry voile straps. It's a French word. You'll also hear them called ski straps. It's basically like a belt. It's just this plastic rubbery thing with a prong that you stick through a hole to tighten and cinch the whole getup. So they're really lightweight, really affordable, but you can fix anything. On hiking trails and on 14ers in particular, I fixed my backpack buckle broke and I used it to fix my waist belt. A friend's shoe sole started to come undone and the voile strap kind of cinched it and held it together until we got down. You can even use it in a first aid emergency as a splint. But bottom line, they're cheap, they're lightweight. Carry a couple of voile straps with you and you won't regret it.
Number 4 on my list is using your neck gaiter to help keep you cool.
Once you get above tree line on a 14er, which means you're above all the trees and you're just in the talus fields, it is really flipping hot. But here's the upside. Inevitably, down lower when you're still in the trees, there are always a couple of water crossings, whether they're larger rivers, tiny streams, snow runoff, whatever. You do usually encounter little bits of water on the way up. Here is how you capitalize on that. You probably should bring a neck gaiter with you, one of those tubes that go over your neck. Whenever you pass a water crossing, dip that neck gaiter into the water and then pull it over your neck. But when you have this damp gaiter on the back of your neck, once you get above tree line, that coolness and that cool temperature is going to help keep you cool. If you don't encounter stream crossings, no big deal, because chances are good that I hope you have a water bottle with you. If you're really, really scorching, take a little bit of your drinking water, squirt it on the neck gaiter, and do the same thing. It will work wonders in keeping you cool. That was a good hack, right? But don't go away because I've got some even better ones coming. If you're doing a 14er this summer, this next one alone is about to make your hike way easier.
Because, yep, that's right. Use your chapstick or your lip balm as backup SPF. Like I just got done saying, when you get above tree line, it is hotter than blazes up there and you get sunburns. Your face, your neck, your ears, this little section under your nose right here, that one's always susceptible for me.
And yes, you should have sunscreen with you. We know that. But sometimes it's buried in your backpack. Sometimes you run out, whatever it may be. Always make sure that your lip balm has SPF in it. And usually you're going to have it either in your pants pocket or your hip belt pocket. If you feel like right here is burning, or maybe the tips of your ears, Or again, this little part under your nose, just grab your chapstick with SPF and use it under your nose, on your ear. I've even smeared it all over my entire face when in a complete emergency. But bottom line, don't forget that your chapstick is likely more accessible, should have SPF in it, and can save you when your face is turning you into a lobster. The next one, my sixth hack on the list, is for the ladies.
When you're above tree line, you have to go to the bathroom. And if you're a woman, that means you have to squat. All of that is fine. But what else happens when you're above tree line? Wind. Because there are no trees, no obstacles, nothing to stop that wind from hitting you. And if you're a woman who's ever tried to squat and pee in a windstorm, you know what happens, right? Yeah, all of that liquid blows everywhere, blows all over your pants, all over your shoes, on your socks. And you try to go to the bathroom and you end up sopping wet, covered in your own urine. Gross and annoying all at the same time. So here's what you do. First of all, if you have to pee above tree line, find a good spot. You're typically in talus fields, so try your best to find larger boulders to protect you. That's step one. Second of all, use
Your backpack. Take it off, put it against the wind, and pee behind the backpack. Chances are good you're not going to pee all over your leg.
And the last hack on my list is get these some recovery sandals. So here's the deal. You get down from your hike, you get to the car, you hopefully have water and snacks there, because there's another tip for you. But your feet are going to be miserable. That's not a guess. That is just objective fact. Your feet will be swollen. They'll probably want to escape the confines of your hiking shoes, and you will want to rip those suckers off your feet as fast as possible. This is where recovery sandals enter. They don't have to be fancy like OOFOS recovery slides, although I do have a pair of those and I love them. They can be something simple like flip flops or Crocs. Whatever they are, leave them in the car so when you get there, you can rip those godforsaken hiking shoes off your feet, chuck them in the back seat, and put on the delightful, comfortable sandals that are going to let your feet swell as long as they want to. If your feet are still feeling really sore, when you get to the trailhead, find a nearby stream or running body of water, and before you put your feet in those sandals, stick them in the river. The cold water, it's going to hurt, it's going to tingle, but it's going to take a lot of the swelling down and make your feet recover oh so much faster.
So there we have it. If you're doing a 14er this summer, these 7 hiking hacks will make your day a lot easier and oh so much comfortable. Honestly, I wish I'd known some of these sooner, especially the laces lock. Give that one a try. And if you are looking at tackling your first 14er this summer, why don't you click here and check out my experience on Mount Elbert, Colorado's highest peak. I'll see you out there.